So allegedly, there's a white genocide happening in South Africa that most of us do not know about. What is a white genocide, you might ask? So, a white genocide is where white South African farmers are being killed by black South Africans. Now, there are incidences of that happening where white people or white farmers are being killed, you know, just like any other country with some murder cases here and there. That is also happening in South Africa. But the president of the United States is claiming that black people are targeting white farmers and trying to eradicate them from their land. Let's discuss. Hi there, my name is Janita Maaya. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please do subscribe. I'm going to give you a minute. Thank you for subscribing. Like, share, comment, do all the nice things. Let's dive in. So recently, the president of the United States invited the cabinet of South Africa to the Oval Office so that they can, you know, sort of talk and, you know, guess come to an agreement or something like that. Recently, the president of the United States invited the cabinet of South Africa to the Oval Office and they decided to have a meeting there. There are all these reporters here, and one South African reporter, a lady, actually asked this question about the white genocide, and Ramaphosa actually said, "Let me answer you," and said there's no such thing happened. After saying that, the president of the United States, Mr. Trump, brought up all these pictures and evidence. I mean, it was a folder of papers and he had all these pictures and videos. He had all these pictures showing that this is happening in your country and you don't know about it. Well, I don't know about it. And he said, no, it's not happening. You know, he tried to debunk it, tried to, you know, talk to him, do some gentle parenting and let him know, no, you're blowing this out of proportion. This is not what is happening. I'm telling you, you know. And he tries to explain some of the images, and also apologizes that he has no plane to give him, because apparently if you make the US angry, then you can apologize by giving them a plane. I don't know how that works, but apparently it's in the works somewhere. And it goes back and forth, and there's just a lot of mumbo, and it doesn't end well, in my opinion. From what I saw, it doesn't end well. I don't feel like they did come to an agreement.
What does it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I know the answer. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah, let me.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us around a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective.
We do not have a genocide in South Africa.
This South African farmer wants to set the record straight. He wrote an open letter to US President Donald Trump after Trump offered Afrikaner farmers refugee status.
But it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white.
The first group of 59 Afrikaners traveled to the US in early May. It has raised questions about why a group of white South Africans of Dutch and French descent are being granted refugee status when the Trump administration has stopped all other refugee programs. De Jager represents a large farmer organization which has members across South Africa. He says while it's true that farm murders are a major problem, Trump hasn't got the facts straight.
I wrote the letter to Trump because I feared that he might have a misunderstanding of what is going on here. We thanked him for having sympathy with our cause, but we also said, rather help us to make things better here. Help us to, within our lifetime, fix the problems we have here. And it's not only a race thing. Black farmers have similar problems too, and we need those problems also to be attended to.
Trump's genocide claims are a result of brutal attacks on farmers in South Africa. Most of the murders happened during armed robberies. There's a large memorial at Nampo, South Africa's largest farming expo, dedicated to farm murders. It contains around 2,800 names, going as far back as the 1970s. One thing that stands out about this event is the diversity. We've seen many Afrikaners, but we've also seen many black people in attendance. This memorial includes the names of black farmers who were victims of farm murders, debunking the idea that it's a crime that only affects white people. And those we spoke to say while they are concerned about farm murders, they don't want to leave South Africa.
If people want to do it, I think it's a good idea. It gives them an option out if they want. But I personally would not do it. This is my country. And that is something that Mandela fought for, is for freedom for all.
I cannot really say there's a genocide in South Africa. The only thing that is happening is it's a crime in general. You know, in every country, in every places, we do have crimes, irrespective of race, you know. So I think the genocide issue is exaggeration.
To the 50 Afrikaners who fled to the US, calling themselves refugees, you are not refugees. You are just a case study of white flight dressed up as martyrdom. You're not escaping violence, you're escaping equality. South Africa didn't chase you away. You ran. Yes, South Africa is one of the most violent countries in the world. Yes, brutality exists. But let's be honest, violence affects all communities, not just white farmers. Black, colored, Indian, and yes, white people are all targets of a national crime crisis. What we have is a breakdown in safety, not a white genocide. This is not ethnic cleansing, it's criminal collapse, and running to the US won't fix it. You are part of a 7% minority, but somehow still manages to control over 70% of the wealth. That is not persecution, that's privilege on a guilt trip. And let's be real, if we tried to relocate just half of the Afrikaans population, it would take decades, billions in logistics, and you'd still end up culturally homeless in a country that don't want your apartheid baggage. You're not brave, you're not victims. You're scared of a world where you don't get to be in charge, and that makes the rest of the Afrikaans community cringe, because you make us look weak. South Africa is broken, and it's our problem to solve. So if you don't have the spine to do so, stay gone.
Is there a white genocide in South Africa?
No, there's no sign of it, never has been. In fact, whites are economically the strongest group. They benefited from democracy more than anybody else. 64% of all boardrooms in South Africa are still white. The average income of white South Africans are vastly higher than black South Africans. No, they have better schools, they have better education, they have private health care. This is the land of milk and honey if you're white.
Has any land been expropriated in South Africa without compensation since the first all-race election in this country?
I'm not aware of anyone. Not a single farm that I'm aware of was expropriated without compensation since 1994.
So how do we interpret President Trump's executive order?
It is possible that South Africa has offended the United States with his policy on the Palestinians, and it could be that with his policy on Russia, the ambiguities of those policies and its relationship with the Chinese. It could be. I think that does play a role. But there was something very, very sensitive that was touched upon. And in South Africa, right-wing groups, so-called civil society groups, we know that they have access to the Trump administration because they claim that. And if you listen to what Trump has said, it corresponds exactly with the genocide narrative that they sell and that they market, and that whites are victims of the democratic system and the constitution in South Africa and legislation. So there's an overlay, there's an immediate overlay, there's an unquestionable overlay between what Trump says and these right-wing groups have said. So I'm afraid I have to believe them when they say they have direct access to the Trump administration, and we see it in what Trump has been doing.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Those are I wanted to show you guys some of the videos sort of explaining the white genocide, what both races were thinking about white genocide, and kind of give you guys a different version from both parties, if that makes sense. That's what I was going for. Now, that being said, the South Africans watching me right now, when you guys call your president Cupcake, why do you do that? Because it's such a sweet, it has a sweet name, honestly. I've seen a clip of a South African saying, "Oh, Cupcake." I'm like, oh my God, I could never. calling an African leader that, but like it's a thing that South Africans do, and I see that they're having so much fun and they're having a ball. So yeah, please let me know what that thinks. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think about this episode. Let me in the comment section. Let's go back and forth about this topic. Do you think the president of South Africa is right to defend his country? Do you think the United States president is also right to defend the white people in South Africa? You know, I actually thought they would be able, if they were going through what they're going through, then you'd think they would send them to Europe, because that's where most of them originate from, the Netherlands and whatnot. But I'm very surprised the United States is sort of sticking up for them, which is something new in this administration. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, do all the nice things, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.